Hi, everybody. This is Healthcare Sucks coming to you with a Healthcare Plus update on some earthquakes in Oregon and Mr. T's actions. Let's start with Mr. T. As you know by now, the airstrike was called off due to loss of life, let's call it 150 casualties. I'm going to tell you what bothers me about that, okay? Here we are more concerned with the lives of another country's civilians. Yeah, that's all cool and heartwarming and stuff. But I'm going to tell you straight out, there was more to this than the 150 lives. Whether this was for show and tell, so he would look like they're calling him the dove, or this was for some other reason, who's we may never know. But what I do want to touch base on, and many of you know this to be true, is due to the opiate farce and the medication cuts to seniors, disabled, and people with chronic illness, we're losing probably 150 people. I'm going to say at the edge, probably every week to 2 weeks to a month at the most, due to suicides, due to having their meds cut. All we need to do is reinstate the act for doctors to prescribe meds to have them filled. Yes, people who cannot control themselves should not be having them without supervision. People who are extreme that cannot control themselves should be given alternative medications. But with that being said, it's not for people to suffer or die. Our own American people are dying. And usually, I'm pretty much so open minded on either party and what they're putting out, and I jump either party's ASS when they're putting out BS. And Mr. T's putting out BS right now because, like I said, many people are suffering. Many people are going to take their own lives due to the medication cuts. Many people are suffering that are homeless right now. Let's just talk about homeless. We all know about that right now. So, with that being said, we're going to jump to earthquakes. I'll get back on that a little later. So, I'm going to just hit Oregon. We've had other fives going on and some sixes. But in Oregon, 4 hours ago, we had a 4.6 at 6.2 miles deep. 5 hours ago, we had a 3.2, 6.2 miles deep. 4.7, 6.2 miles deep. 4.2, 6.2 miles deep. All three of those are about 5 hours ago. 6 hours ago, off the Oregon coast, down towards Brandon, uh, off Medfordish, let's just call it Oregon, California coast down there. On the fault line, by the way, guys. All these are going to be within the last 6 hours. So, last 6 hours, 6 hours ago, we also had the 4.2, 6.2 miles deep, 5.4, 6.2 miles deep, another 5.4, 6.2 miles deep, and a 5.0, 6.2 miles deep. And all those were within 6 hours ago. So altogether, we've had 2, 4, 6, 8 earthquakes within the last 6 hours off the Oregon coast on the fault line out there, or pretty damn near. So with that being said, we need to keep our eyes and ears open to what's going on. With that also being said, I'm going to let you watch a little bit of this because I think it's relative. And then we are going to move on to something different.
Shot down is that it tells the enemies and adversaries what our capabilities are. And the U.S. military has incredible surveillance capabilities. Our allies know that. And now, unfortunately, our enemies also know that. That Global Hawk is worth about $180 million. So it's an expensive loss. There aren't enough drones in the U.S. military. There's a demand for these drones all over the world. So it is a loss, but I think the president is drawing a clear line that there was not a loss of U.S. military personnel lives, and that would change the calculation in terms of a military response or any response at all.
And that was their excuse. But again, I don't believe it to be fully true. Yes, the loss of life. I would tend to believe on that more, guys, that if we did, there was a threat from Russia. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, though, guys. So I will keep you updated. And remember, healthcare sucks. Over and out.